So Kakwelam comes for the gospel according to jazz in Nairobi. So just like the way Safaricom set up, they've got this thing where they've got the meet and greet. And then I was invited, because I work at Capital FM, to go for the press thing at Michael Joseph Center. And then in my mind, I'm like, this is Kakwelam, man. This is the Kakwelam that I'm like... So, after the press conference...
But it's crazy, they're inviting you from your capacity as press.
Imagine. Anyway,
like, first and foremost, not as one of the leading jazz musicians in the country, not even as a former director.
No.
Music director of this thing. I mean, you are the one who gave them the list.
For a point, I was like, is there someone is there like some bad blood? I was puzzled at how like, what's going on? I didn't understand what was going on. But then 2015, another major thing happens.
Okay, so hold on. So for this Kakwelam, you go for it?
I go for
the press conference.
The press conference. But even before Kakwelam, let me talk about the other thing that happens. I do my third album called Deeper. Now,
the writer's block imeisha.
What happens is that I now started listening to this more acoustic jazz, more stripped up, more like double bass, drums and piano, like more trio-based music. And so what I did is that I took the first experiment that I did with that sound was I took Lazizi and created that way as a single and released it. And it was such people really loved it. So like, I think this is what I want. And then for me, I was like, I think this is the sound that I want. But I'm like, we don't have musicians who play the double bass here and who have that language.
Yeah.
So what I did is that I was able to get some drum samples from a library of drum samples for that acoustic stuff, acoustic sound. And then I got a double bass sample. And then, of course, guitars was Kato and Benjamin Kabaseke. And so we did the album in August of 2015. And that album is a fantastic album. And because it features, of course, Eric, of course, it features Kanji. What I did is I took songs from Keys of Life and Alfajiri. Because by then, I started feeling like these albums didn't have that quality. They're good albums in terms of composition, but if I'm trying to get to New York and to these markets, they're not there.
I get now why you call them demos.
Yeah, so they ended up becoming like demos. So it's like, I can't put this same album with the Herbie Hancock album. Like, no. So if I'm trying, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to get to New York. I need to put out something that is in that same level. That if someone listens to it, they'll be like, okay, who's that guy? Because even the recording and how it sounds. So I really sat down and worked on that album, And so Deeper came out.
This album was literally your entrance, what you are going to show guys when you arrive in New York.
Yeah, I was like...
You're not going to give them Keys of Life.
No, I'm not giving Keys of Life and Alfajiri. Yeah. And then also
not because they are bad albums.
And also I'd moved on from that sound.
Yes.
I'm not playing that music, that type of sound anymore. I'm more into the acoustic. It's funky and as I said, less Wanyika-ish. But it is more improvised. There's more solos, there's more space. That's what I was looking for. And so that's what I did Deeper. That's how I did Deeper.
Nice.
So I did the sessions at Bruce's, at Arcades, and then a good chunk at my home studio. And when it came out, I was so... Because now I redid songs from those first two projects. And I reworked them. I asked Eric, I did a song for Eric called Nani Nani. I did a song called Simama, which now will later come to be on Netflix Spike Lee's show.
Whoa.
She's gonna have it, yeah. It's from Deeper.
It actually made the cut all the way through.
Yeah.
It was a selected song.
Yeah, from one of the scenes from episode 9. So during the scene, like, you hear my tune there. So now Kakwelam shows up when I've just done Deeper. So I'm happy because if you ask me, can I listen to your music? I'm like, here's some stuff. So what happens with my relationship with Kakwelam is that after the press conference, the grand piano at Michael Joseph Center, some guys are just milling around. So I'm like, this is my moment. I'm going to sit on that piano and I'm going to play some African stuff he has never heard before.
What?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I did. So I saw, like, okay. I went, fungued the piano and sat there and played some tunes. He came out with his phone and recorded me, recorded me, and he asked me, what's your name? So I introduced myself, and like, you could see how, I'm like, wow. So I told him, incidentally, I think you're at the radio station tomorrow. It's called Capital FM. I'm actually one of the hosts at the Capital Jazz Club. Nini is like, oh, great, let's meet tomorrow. So the next morning, I go to Capital FM on Makbul's show.
So hold on, guys must have been like, this guy is showing off. But you don't care. You.
For me, it wasn't
about them.
And even they're not even concentrating. Mm-hmm. So people are just milling around doing other stuff. I'm like, and then now when car comes, all his musicians surround the piano. That's when now people started noticing there's something going on. So me, I'm playing, I'm exchanging numbers. He gave me his phone. Like, right, put your number. Like, he's giving me my phone. Oh, wow. Oh, well. So, the next day at Capital FM, on the morning show, breakfast show, he tells me, no, we have these conversations now on air.
With Makbul, okay.
With Makbul. So yeah, on air, he's like, Makbul is like, how's your experience been? Like, have you met some fantastic guys? Like, there's one here. And I'm going to work on a project with him.
What?
The same thing Eric did.
What?
Remember how I just showed up?
Yeah.
And Eric just made an announcement.
So hold on, this Kakwelem was going for the breakfast show, not even your show.
He's going for the breakfast show. But
you showed up.
I showed up. I was like, Kakwelem is at Capital FM. Of course I have to go. I did the exact same thing that happened with Eric.
Mm-hmm. So in the mix while he's talking, he's like, and I'm working with him.
Yeah. So now I'm getting messages, ping, ping, and you're working with Kakwelem.
Even you're like, I'm working with him.
Oh, even me, I'm working with him. The same thing Eric did, Kakwelem did. Because I just showed up. I would have decided that it's not my show and stayed at home.
Yeah. Show up.
I just showed up. I was like, there's a way I have to work with this. The way he likes my music, let me just show up. So I showed up.
And thank God you're working at Capital FM.
Exactly. And but not even that, I was working at Capital FM, but my show is on Sunday. Yep. I am not needed on the morning show. But like, he's there.
But you see, just for that sake, you had entrance. You could walk in at Capital FM. It's not like me if I walked in.
Yeah, exactly. So I had the access because I'm an employee.
Yes.
But I technically I was not supposed to be. I was not supposed to be there. My show is on Sunday.
So the guy says that while you're there, I'm working with him.
Right there.
Where does this story go, man? I'm too interested.
So at the end of the show, we exchange contacts. Before he goes, like, so he's like, what's your plan? And like, actually, I'm thinking of moving to the States. Like, he tells me, please, when you come to the States. In fact, now he takes my phone and now gives me his actual number. Not the one for Wasani. He's only like, please call me. I have to do some work with you.
No way.
I have to. He's like, I have to do some work with you. I'm like, whoa.
Because of your 2 minutes playing.
That's those 2 minutes.
But for you, now you're like, listen, there's no way I'm not going to the States.
That now adds the anxiety to 100%. Like,
this is a hero.
Yeah. So now, so I'm like, now I have to go to the States. This is the only thing that has to happen. You know. So now it becomes even more the jadedness and I'm like, now imagine these guys are feeling my vibes, but these guys even don't recognize who I am. I'm here as a radio host.
Yeah.
Not for me as a musician. Why does it have to take this guy from outside there? He's a Grammy award-winning musician. He sees my value. That's when you say, ouch, Kenya. Ouch, Kenya. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Ouch. You corporate guys are fighting me and running around circles with him and treating him like a king. And ignoring me. Ouch, 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 ouch. He wants to work with me. Ouch. Ouch. That one hurt. That one hurt so bad. And I got so depressed, you guy. Because now I'm like, then the USCIS are like, oh, send this. It's becoming like a long process. Now it's like, this is now coming 2016. It's about to be 2 years, man.
Yeah.
I started this thing in 2014. So I'm like, when did this thing come? I'm like, man. So by the time we get to February of 2016, even now it's affecting my health. My tummy started to give me problems,
Ulcers.
Yeah,
Sorts.
like it was like, what do they call it?
Anxiety.
No, there's a gastritis. Yeah, which leads to ulcers anyway. So, but I'm just not feeling okay. But then an opening happens. Because now I'm like, I just need to get out of here. I'm like, that's so sad. Why should I be feeling like that? Like I'm being chased out. Like I just have to get out. I don't care. I just have to. I have to get out of this country. I have. That's what I'm telling myself in my brain. But then I can't because I don't have a way out. So an opening happens in South Africa through Safaricom Jazz Festival in 2016, the February one. So they booked some South African artists who had been listening to their CD. I'm like, I know these guys. So at Intercontinental, when they're having the jam session, I went and introduced myself. That's the thing that I'm always saying.
Yeah. I'm hearing you.
Always go and introduce yourself. So in fact, there's an artist like, so nice guys were there just chilling, you are making these connections. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, see, there's something that I want to do. There's a path that I'm pursuing. So I went and like, hey, you're the drummer, I understand. Like, oh, you play with this guy, yeah. Of course, now I have deeper. Do you have headphones? Listen. The guy listens and just does this. He tells me, this is a guy from a mad drama. He looks at me, he's like, remember the Orbit, the club in Johannesburg?
Yeah.
He tells me, would you want to play in Johannesburg?
No way.
I told him, I was like, yeah, you've got a gig. He's like, the pianist that I'm playing with is like, Nduzo? I'm like, of course I know that's how I know you, because you play with this guy. Like, he's touring and I've been booked at this place and I'm looking for a pianist.
No way.
Which for me was puzzling because South Africa has ridiculously good piano players. Like, bad. It's like, I'm looking for a pianist. Is there a way you come? And he just made it clear. I'm like, I don't have a ticket and I don't have a place for you to stay. But can you come? Is there a way you can come? Is there a way you can just make it to come? I told him, you know what? I told him, yes, I will. I will come. I'll look for a way. Thankfully, my wife's brother was living in South Africa.
In Joburg?
In Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So in my mind, even I told him, like, I'm going to crash at his house. I just need a ticket to take me there. Let me look for some money to go. So I made a plan. So 22nd April.
Out.
I went to South Africa. And let me tell you, so we go for the first.
And this is your first time in South Africa?
No, this is my second.
Yeah, you're going with your wife.
Yeah, I'd gone before. Yeah.
Holiday by then.
Yeah. But this now I'm going there to specifically to play. So what is interesting and so fascinating to me is that we get there, and then we go. We get there a week earlier. So I go to the Orbit because I know there's some other cats that are playing there. Like, let me go check out. And those guys are killing it. Ooh. So now this is exciting me. In my mind, I'm like, this is exactly what I'm saying. This is my point. So at the end of the show, the owner of the club introduces, says, like, next week on Friday, we have this fantastic jazz pianist from Kenya. He's going to play here with Ayanda Sikade and Benjamin Jefta. We are very excited to him. He's one of the guys you should check out. I'm like, these guys from outside can see what I do. They can see. But an entire jazz festival asks me to come as a radio host. Like, well done. Well done.
This story is insane.
So we go there, and let me tell you, in my mind, I'm like, this is another opportunity here I'm not going to waste. I play so hard with those three guys. They come and tell me, dude, what? Wow. But these guys have been playing with like the dons in South Africa. But that's why I say practice. Always be prepared. Because when the opportunity shows up, you give your 100%. Like this one is, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. But then after the gig, I'm like, I'm going back to Kenya and this thing has not worked out. Like,
so guys showed up for the gig?
Packed, full. To the point where we were booked for another gig the Sunday.
Yeah.
As in, we got another gig because our packed. At the end of the show, when we get it, in fact, they're like, that's the most that, in fact, I under the drummer, like, this is the most I've ever gotten paid after a gig. You know, so the owner of the club comes and tells me, "Are you free on the other Sunday? Would you want to come?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
I'm going nowhere.
But now Ayanda and Benjamin have to travel.
Oh.
I'm like, so I asked them, "Can you get me some other guys to play with?" They're like, "Sure." So he connects me with these other musicians, and we go there and hit it hard also. We play so hard. I like don't waste a moment. That's what that has been.
Don't waste a moment.
Don't waste a moment. Then after that, now I'm starting to get stressed because now this thing has riled me up. I'm like, I'm like, Kenya is not giving me this. I'm like, I've done so much. I need to get out. Now this is even now making me even more upset.
Because you've tasted what you want.
I've tasted what I want.
Tasted the appreciation from the people.
I've tasted the love.
So you just, in fact, I'm not dwelling on this for. It's something that you're saying is so huge. Your tank is empty here.
Completely. And
this tank can be filled. You're giving, but receiving nothing.
Yeah, the return is so little. I like what DNG said. Like, the reason why when he stopped music is that it's not giving it back to him. And I'm not saying that there are people who have not supported me, and that there are people who have completely been there. But there are few. And then anytime you're looking for other opportunities in Nairobi, you're being taken rounds. I'm like, do I have to? It's like an audition every time. I'm like, you saw me on TPF. You won't tell me you don't know what I do. Do I have to? Is it an audition all the time? All the time, it's an audition. To the point, let me just put it on blast. I was trying to look for a space at that's when I was like, I think I don't know what was happening with Safaricom at that time. I don't know who I irritated or messed up, but they asked me to give them like a brief of what I'm booking a space in 2017 or 2016 to do one of my shows, like another piano and voice. They asked me to do a brief of what I'm coming to do there at the Michael Joseph Center. My video is playing in the center. I'm like, wow. That's when I was like, sometimes.
And you don't have a problem doing the brief. It's this.
How many times have I played there, guys? Surely. I'm like, am I introducing myself to you? I'm like, oh man, it's so frustrating, man. I'm like, what? But as I said, creativity. I'm like, but then I realized, you know what? These corporates are not there. They're not my ticket. Let me just start focusing. But now the problem is because of riling myself up and getting so upset, getting angry, I had a major depression.
20?
I was diagnosed with clinical depression.
What?
In 2016. Because by the time I came back to Kenya, I was just not in a good place.
What?
Yeah. I had to go and seek help. Now, it also started bringing other stuff that I had not dealt with. So now it was also the issues that breakdowns, like you guys, June to September of 2016, I was in a dark place. I felt like, man, I can't. I've given. And I think also burnout. I'd worked so hard for so many years, so I depleted myself. I was empty. I have nothing else to give.
And then this tattoo thing is also.
Now the US thing is not taken. Now this is year 2. They're telling me back and forth. But thank God, at the darkest of moments, to the point where I was like, you know what? So now some of the help that I got, it's like, don't put your eggs in one knee. Start looking. It's not the end of the world. You can look for other ways. I'm like, it's true, probably. Or getting out of it.
And the essay had shown you.
Yeah. So I was invited by Capital have this relationship with the Joy of Jazz Festival in South Africa, where they send people they send a group of people from Capital FM to go enjoy the festival. It's sponsored by one of the tourism thing. So I went there. I went to South Africa again in September. Now, before I went, man, I was in such a bad place, you guys. Wow. It was a complete mental breakdown. Full-blown, yeah. Why I didn't want to wake up. You know that thing for depression, 100%. That's what as I said, clinical. But I started now, part of me, as I said, for the first time I looked at the piano and I hated it.
What?
That's when I knew things are bad. My studio, the time I was walking and I looked at it and I couldn't play it. I couldn't. That's when I was like, that's what made me go look for help.
So you went to look for help though?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not in a good place. Let me not lie to myself. I'm not in a good place. Because how can I hate this thing? And then for the first time I looked at my scars, I'm like, this always happens to me.
There weren't the things that you look and get hope.
Yeah. So a lot of things happen. And that's why I say, when PSTD and all these things you can have triggers that just all congregate and become this big, powerful thing that you have to deal. And it can actually, some people don't get out of it. And so for me, but I was determined. I think there's a spark. I'm like, but I've always loved music. It's like I had to strip myself and start dreaming again. Create new dreams. Just go to the bare minimum, take walks, mindfulness, eat okay, because I was not eating, because now it started affecting my tummy. So I was not eating. I was just on heavy antacids and medications, and I was just, so my body's already hit. I'm not okay emotionally. I'm burnt out. I'm depressed. You guy, man. I don't wish that for anyone. So Capital FM sent us to...
And you're not going as a performer?
No. This time I'm going as... I was like, you know what? I even didn't want to go. That's how bad it was. I didn't want to go to South Africa. I didn't want to do anything. But my wife would just say, just go. You never know. Just go. Just get out and extend your stay. Stay there for like Nini, just go. So I went to my friend Brian Kagoro's house. The one who had the Zimbabwean, because now he's working in South. Yeah, so I went to the house. And I chilled there, and I was like, I went for the, of course now because I'm at the capital, I
did the festival.
Yeah. So even the music, and these are hard, heavy hitting artists, it didn't mean anything to me. I'm like, okay, so go back to the hotel, you know. But before going there, or around that time, the USCIS said that we have granted you the petition, so now you can come, you can migrate to the US. But I was not really that happy.
What?
Imagine. I was like, yay, yay,
what?
Yay, yay, it came. Okay, I'll try and start making a move. Imagine, you guy. Even the thing that made me get to that state now, like, yeah, great.
Hey, this was depression for you.
Yeah, it was. So now when I go to South Africa, those 21 days, that's when I say it's like God just did his thing. Because I had to strip myself and start rewriting what I want, what my vision is. And then I'd gotten all these tools about how to get out of it, and how to, your goals, what is it you want, how to self-acceptance, how to not beat yourself. So that's what happened. And so after 21 days, I came back. I was feeling a bit okay. So, but I was not there yet. Not even I won't say not there yet. I was still. Another problem with these things is that even it affects your relationships. It starts affecting, you know,
marriage,
friendships. You know, because people don't know how to react, and they're just giving to you, and it's just. Depression, what guys don't know is that depression has this other angle where it can affect those closest to you. But anyway, so I come back, and then now we start now the USCIS. They're like, now we are handing this to the State Department. Now we can start moving to the States.
What does it mean? When they grant you, does it mean you can move tomorrow?
No. To move to the States, there are two departments. There's the one that is the United States Immigration Services. They're the ones who say, come. But now to come, you need a visa.
Yep.
Now that department is handled by the State Department. The ones who give you at the embassy.
Yes.
Now those are the ones who do a background check. Is this guy, no, that's what they do. Like, is this guy criminal? Because the USCIS don't do that.
Yep.
So now that's what.
So that's another process.
That's another whole other process. And it took a year. It took another year.
They're like, don't call us, we call you.
Yeah, don't call us, we call you.
So you're just waiting.
You just wait. So
that living
in limbo
is
that
madness.
Is driving me mad.
Yeah.
That's what drove me to that depression. So I can't move. I can't make a move, but I'm like, this place is not. I'm already upset. But then that's when I started having like these conversations with some pastor friends of mine, and there's one who made something that I'll never forget what he told me. He's like, you can't. He said you can't soil the place you are in before you make a move, because it will reject you anyway. So you can't say all this like this place doesn't work. This place doesn't work. Your words are powerful. It is a fact of how you feel. But you just have to seek wisdom in how to make a move. And then also I started realizing that I needed to not be hard on myself. It's not my fault that USA, I can't control it. There's some things that I can control and the things that I can't control. So you can't put all your eggs onto something you can't control. What is the thing that is right there that you can control? I can do some work here, I can concentrate.
Yep.
There's some things I can't. So that's what happened. So I started, and those are some of the tools that help me even right now. I'm like, this one I can't control, so I can't put everything there. Of course, it's a hard lesson because there's some things you want, but 2017 shows up. What have I don't think, nothing much happened after coming from South Africa because I was not in that state. I was still working at Capitol, I still do the shows, I came back to playing at Mavuno Crossroads because after Mavuno, the move.
Yep.
So I started going to Nairobi Chapel. So I was like, I need an outlet to at least start playing again. That's when I asked her, like, is there a way I can play at church? So that started, I think, my road to healing, you know, and doing a lot of self-work, a lot of tools to help me get out of this state. So by 2017, now I was invited to South Africa again to play another show at the Orbit Jazz Club. Early 2017, what happens?
And this time they're paying for you to go down.
No, this one, this one.
Now they've invited you.
Yeah, this one they've invited me. And so, no, even that one they didn't. They said they can pay me, but they don't have a ticket. So like, I'll come. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. Like sometimes you have to make these sacrifices.
Yep.
But then I forget. 2016, when I go to those 21 days, I make a recording, a live recording with Ayanda and another a fantastic bass player called Herbert Soeli, who's like a living legend. And to get him was even ridiculous because the guy who was supposed to play with, cause I ended up even doing a gig in South Africa.
This time when during the 21
the 21 days, yeah. I ended up doing a gig at the Orbit. But then it ended up being crazy because now there are those riots for fees must fall.
Oh.
Yeah. So people didn't come. So, but I was happy at least I played. But then I was like, have these 21 days, can I at least record? Because the drummer was like, can we at least record? So
Can you in Cape Town?
No, in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So all the times I've been there, it's been Johannesburg.
Even for that jazz festival that you did?
Yeah, everything has been Johannesburg.
Okay.
So it's like, like they asked me, how long are you going to be here? I'm like, I'm going to be here for another 2 weeks. Like, is there a way we can record? Because in April when I was there, we were unable to record. So it's like, okay, but I don't have money. You know, I can't afford a recording space. So I was able to get someone to help me get the money to do the session, and me and the three of us recorded at a fantastic studio, and I think that's when the light opened. So when I was coming back to Kenya after those 21 days, because like finally I've done a live album with these guys who played doubles. It was fun. I did songs from Keys of Life.
Nice.
And Alfajiri are in there. But now played with these guys. Yep. And the album ended up being called Kwetu.
That's how Kwetu now came.
Yes. So 2017, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, the living in limbo is I'm okay, but I'm also getting a bit frustrated because the USA, they're not telling me anything. So I'm like, okay, I remembered you can't control. So those lessons start coming. You can't control going to the States. You can't. You have to wait. And you should be ready for them to tell you no. So I'm like, that's what put you in this fix last year. So this is 2017, you can't. So I just dove into Capital FM, now started being active with Koroga. We started doing this unplugged sessions. I think you may have seen some with Mfalme. So I started doing these little other things just to keep on, bills have to be paid. So we did that around in April. That's when I go back and stay there for a month, do a couple of shows, do some interviews. So like now this South Africa Connect is really working well. So around in May, the USCIS tell us, okay, now go for the appointment. So now we have to start doing everything that needed. Get this, get that, get this document, get this. And so we went for we went and we got the visas. They're like, okay, we are giving you 6 months to get yourself to the US.
What?
Yeah. If you don't get to the US before December, you have to start this whole thing again.
2017 April, nice when they tell you this.
We get 2017 April is when now we get we are asked to go for the appointment.
Yes.
And so by June, it was June. Oh, we couldn't get an appointment because there was no dates that are available. So for a month, we couldn't get a date. Because the way they had set it up is that you have to get into their portal and find a date that is open.
Yep.
So now I was looking, none. So one opened up in the beginning of June.
So you got it.
That's when we got it. But then it ended up becoming a process because now the health thing, you have to go. It's just a whole, I wish I knew, now I know. So finally we get the appointment and then it's time to go.
So you live there with your visas?
No, of course they send it to you like the way you get a visa.
Okay.
They go to the States, yeah. So go and collect it at DHL, the usual.
Yeah.
So, but then we told everyone, guys, here it is, man. What a journey. It has caused me depression. I'm like, it's been 3 years. 3 years, or 3.5 years of trying to get this thing going. And God was merciful. And we're able to move to the US. So
but now that's another monkey.
I'm coming to that. So on August 8, 2017, 2017, we took a one-way ticket to the US and landed on the morning of 2017. And I can remember on the way, when I got to New York City, I was like, this is my new life now. With my bags, we were just 5 suitcases, we sold everything and went to start a new life.